Burning out when you have ADHD is not what most people think it is. Most people think it's about doing too much. But actually, it's more about the way you do things and whether or not that is aligned with how your brain works. And that's exactly why rest alone rarely fixes the problem. You can take a week-long holiday or sleep more, eat well, even quit your job, and you'll still feel exhausted when you come back. Burnout happens when your nervous system never gets a chance to turn off survival mode. And when you live like this for long enough, you eventually just hit a wall. With ADHD, we're usually pretty good at holding it together on the outside, but internally we're running on fumes. And I think that's one thing that really needs to be communicated or shared more when you're told that you have ADHD or you're learning about ADHD, is that we need to listen to what's happening internally more than the outputs that we're putting out and what things look like from the outside. And then let that internal stuff guide our decisions. Because when we notice these internal signals, they're often our brain's way of waving a white flag and saying, you need to change something. So something I've really practiced in the past few years is asking myself, how can I do this differently and sustainably rather than how can I do less? And it's quite a subtle mindset shift, but it has massive, massive implications. Here are some specific things that I do differently to stop burnout from ruining my life. Firstly, I always try and stay on observation for early signals. If I feel that my shoulders are tight all day and my thoughts are racing, or maybe I've got shallow breath, if that happens for a few days in a row, I realise that something serious is probably happening and something needs to change. The second is that I design everything I do around my energy peaks. So I do deep work in the morning, I do light work in the afternoons, because naturally that's where my energy is highest and lowest. And also in the past year, I found it really helpful to reframe my idea of success. For example, getting 80% of your stuff done every day, or even 50% of your stuff done every day, is way better than going 100% on one day and nothing for the next 4 days. Your output is going to be more. And there are so much more things you can do to do things differently rather than doing less. And it can be really difficult for us to recognize that we're about to hit the wall of burnout before we actually hit the wall. But these kind of things really make it a lot easier to recognize when the signals are there. Follow for more.